Got a video? I love both of those names. So I started like this. I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama gave me. I'm here with Philip, a tailor with a beautiful space in Towson Mall, right next to the Starbucks and on the Nordstrom side. This is, what store?
This is Branded Bespoke.
Branded Bespoke. Philip, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Seattle, Washington.
I like that. What's it like out there?
It's different. It's Seattle is very remote. There's not a lot of other large cities going on, so it's got its own strong kind of Northwest culture, but happy to be here now.
How's the weather? And that sounds goofy, but I always hear about the rain.
It does rain a bit, but it's not like lots of heavy rain. We get a reputation for it, I think, more than we deserve. Seattle's got a very nice summer.
I laugh at the more than we deserve because that's a lot of spaces. Spaces will get known for something and
One
it becomes
thing,
a
and
narrative.
then it becomes the whole thing, yeah.
You're from Seattle in
And
a
it rains
city
there.
with this, like, you're in Baltimore with like
Yeah.
all of the things that are said about it, but you are here understanding the value.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm new to the city. I moved here last summer, and I'm still learning about it. All I knew was crab cakes.
There's so much history here for so many reasons. A lot of different political things that have gone on, but the people are very down to earth. We have a lot of guards up because of traumas, but when you get beyond the guards, you see gems all around you.
There's a lot of passion. Native Baltimore people are very passionate about their city. They love being from Baltimore and identify very strongly with the culture here.
Say it again. I missed the last thing you said.
It's a very strong culture. It's a local culture. It's very good.
This is one of the strongest cultures I know. I laugh because I started my brand, CharmCityBipper, Be Love, Love Baltimore.
Sure.
Based on the concept of like, I see New York with the NY, but it represents the Yankees. I see Los Angeles with the Dodgers, but it's LA. And they have other hats, of course. But when I saw the Ravens and I saw the Orioles, I didn't always see the B. They have it now, so I won't deny it. But I didn't always feel that connection with the O's hat. I didn't always feel that connection with the Ravens hat. So I came up with people who were Steelers fans when the Ravens are playing. Like, don't do that to me. I came up with people who were like, oh, this city isn't that, it isn't this. And I'm going into it like, I see so much that y'all are denying. So I've been constantly in that space of like, what is here? Branded, bespoke.
Sure.
Culture. There are so many spaces here where people are committed to changing the narrative. And they aren't always given the opportunity to do it with media. So I stepped into that with that in mind. And I'm grateful just to hear you say that you just thought it was crab cakes. Or you just thought it was these little things. But you are speaking to other parts that I've said are valuable. Our passion is valuable. It's understood that when somebody's from Baltimore, you can see it. Like something about them said, oh, that guy's from Baltimore.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. What got you into tailoring? Why tailoring?
I've been interested in fashion as far back as I can remember. I decided to go the tailoring route because everyone's going into design. There's a surplus of designers. I wanted to be able to learn to make first and to be able to create my own pieces and to design later, but to start with an understanding of the craft of making and yeah.
Were there any other creative outlets you had before fashion?
Mostly in art. I'm decent at drawing. Yeah.
I think about that often because I started out with like sketching. I always loved art class. I was good at math, so they pulled me away from art any opportunity they could. but I always had it in the background. So I love that. Pick creatives' minds.
Yeah, I was as part of a creative mind. I guess I was looking for an opportunity to take a different route, not to just do what everyone else was doing. And no one was studying tailoring. No one's going into tailoring. I had to travel to England to find a school for tailoring. You know, because there's no one in the States teaches the craft that I wanted to learn. So, yeah.
So in this journey, like, what has stuck out the most as far as crafting outfits for people?
I think the passion that tailors and craftsmen like myself have for just the details, even though most consumers don't even see it. You know, you're an artist, you appreciate it. It's not for the vast majority of people. You know how good it is, and you put the work in, and the quality's there, whether anyone else recognizes it or not. And so seeing other tailors, and being with them and appreciating the craft really inspired me and gave me a lot of momentum to pursue this.
Have there been any pain points in your life that pushed you deeper into your creations?
Pain points?
I call them pain points in reference to grief. On my podcast, I've had a lot of moments with individuals who had a major loss in life, and it made them reflect in a way where it was like, I don't have much of this. I don't have as much as I think I do. So I have to be a tailor. I have to be an artist.
I think for me, it was more just knowing what I wanted to do, seeing how difficult it was to become a tailor, to learn, to study that, and then trying different things, other paths in life that weren't working out. Trying this job, that job, studying this or that, and just not being satisfied with it, and then pushing myself to go to tailoring school eventually. It's like nothing else worked out. This is what I want. I'm going to pursue it.
I love it. I mean, it's funny how that is the reality of creatives, but a lot of people don't have understanding for that reality. So a lot of what you didn't like is ultimately fueling how much you put into this in some way, because you know the alternative. Yeah. You have a reference for what it could have been, and it adds to this gratitude.
Yeah. I think after having spent a few years trying other things and knowing that this is what I want to do, I'm not envious of other people in their careers and their situation. However glamorous it seems, it's like, I know that I'm doing what I love.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And it's I laugh because Bruce Daddy, the comedian that just left, was speaking on a similar concept of, we got to boil it down to comparison is a thief of joy. How could you have joy for your tailoring when you're envious and jealous, or you're doing it from a space of spiting others? And I love to see people who lock in with their truth. So every time I come in here, you're getting busy. Like, I notice things people don't think I notice, but like every time I'm seeing you got some garment in your hand, you're solving some problem, you're creating some. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, someone told me the other day I never smile. I'm like, no, I'm always happy. Like,
because it's internal.
Yeah.
Internal joy doesn't have to be an external thing for others to validate. So it's like, why you're here. Yeah. And it's that part of like, oh, you're not emotional enough. It's like, do I have to be? Because I'm here as a tailor, looking at these garments. Maybe my face is serious because this is how my thinking face. Thinking face isn't a problem unless someone wants to make it.
I like seeing, and I can tell when other people have found their passion. I love seeing other people enthusiastic because I recognize that enthusiasm. I know what it feels like. So when other people, whatever their interest is, when they are in the zone and they start talking about their thing, I love to see it.
Yes, but it's that part of understanding what it takes to get that. Because I'm laughing in my head at the Goodwill job, the Five Guys job, the library job where I'm literally putting books on the shelf. And now I get to talk to a tailor about this thing that he traveled across the pond or wherever else in the world to make real.
Yeah.
Like, you're from Seattle and Baltimore, West Coast to East Coast.
Yeah.
Like, is family in Seattle?
Family's in Seattle. Yeah. I moved out here not knowing anyone, just for the opportunity to work here, because after talking with Nehemiah and talking with the owners and stuff, I saw what they were trying to do and liked the opportunity to, come into a small business that was trying to expand and that was really about creativity and about the passion for the work and not just a big company.
What is your favorite garment to make?
Trousers. Actually, I'm wearing some trousers that I made right now.
The pinstripe.
Yeah, these are mine. I made them by hand. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so... I'm so grateful for this space because I see people creating in real time and I see it being sold in real time and being valued in real time. And like, it's so special to have real time references. And I've said real time at least 6 times, but I'm just like constantly in a space of bliss as of late because I do what I want. Yeah. And I'm not harming anybody in the process. Right. And I get to see others do all the things.
Yeah.
I'm a little high right now. I don't actually get high, so that's funny. This is how of life.
Nice.
This guy. Oh my goodness. How do your family feel about it?
My family's great. They're very supportive. Yeah. All my siblings all did what they wanted to do. They're all kind of in similar situations where they're following what they're passionate about, and we all took different routes, completely different things. So it's fun to talk to them about what they do, and because they're just as excited and passionate about life, and yeah, it's very inspiring.
I'm in a similar situation. My brother's an architect.
Okay.
My younger brother, like he goes to sites and he's like looking at sites for the faults in them and like correcting them.
Okay.
He's 24. My
Nice.
sister is, my oldest sister is a hairstylist. She's a beautician.
Okay.
My mom's a beautician. My younger sister is a aspiring tech. Like she's getting into tech, and I'm just like, I'm always seeing people that do things that they want in watching the trials we go through. Like the trials oftentimes lock us into spaces. And I don't say us. I don't want to own it. We don't have to own negativity, but sometimes it's like these moments can mean so much to us that we allow it to define us, and it doesn't. There's people that didn't want you at their school. I'm sure, right? There's applications that don't go through. There's teachers who say, "Oh, you're in the fashion. You're not that serious. You're not smiling enough to want to be a tailor." Like that energy, and like bringing that to your parents. Was that accepted immediately, or was it like your parents were like, "Go ahead"?
They were, they were like, "Go ahead." But the year before I went to school for tailoring, I tried joining the military, and they were supportive of that too. I'm like, I want to get into the Navy, and I got turned down. They wouldn't. They were medical problems or whatever. I wasn't perfectly fit, so I didn't get into the Navy, and I was very disappointed. But in retrospect, it's like, well, if I hadn't got rejected, I never would have gone to tailoring school. So it worked out, and I'm confident that the next time something disappointing comes up, I'll get through and it'll be better in the end.
Absolutely. I laugh because it's like all the things that I thought I would be that I'm not are things I talk about in my podcast. I wanted to design more clothes. I get to hang out with clothing designers. I listen to comedians all day, and I never wrote a joke, but I just love comedians to the point where I thought of doing stand-up for 2 seconds. I just did an interview with a stand-up comic. I thought I would be in engineering. I have friends who took the path and tell me of its pitfalls and what they don't like about their life. And then they give me the thing of, you're doing this thing. And I'm like, oh, so it was worth it to not have what I thought I needed, because everything I didn't get is what I end up talking about.
And honestly, it's not there are bad moments and then there are good times, and sometimes you remember the bad moments, but then when you look back, it's overcoming it, and it's the kind of all of the positive things that shape you, and you don't think about it until later, and you realize, for me, it's like knowing my brothers. One of them's a videographer, one of them's a carpenter. Like one of them is into art and the visual kind of looking at things, and the other one is into craftsmanship, and I'm kind of in between, where I'm like, I design something and then create it, and I've got a little bit of both of those things, and I never really thought about it before, but yeah,
that's such a blessing. I mean, I'm laughing at that thought. like there's good times and there's bad moments. There's bad moments and there's good times.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of life, and having gratitude for both. Because you had a moment, you have a story of how the Navy didn't work, but this thing became one of your biggest blessings.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really bad moment, but the next year was great.
Facts. And I'm having so many awesome moments, but it's anchored in the loss I took this year. The family member.
Yeah, sure.
It's anchored in having to leave a school I taught at for 3 years. So it's like anchored in these very real moments where it's like, how are you going to make money doing a podcast and being a yoga instructor?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Hey, Brandon, you still?
I think he is.
Nehemiah's here?
I think he walked in. Yeah.
You can check. Ask him. I'm not sure. We'll find out in a second. But just thinking about all of the losses that it took to make this possible. And I've been doing this for 6 months. So 5. January 23rd was the first episode. We're at June 30th.
Okay.
So 5 months fully being officially a podcast. And I'm just living into it in a way where it was like, I had parents coming up to me. Like one of the parents gave me money. They're like, hey, look, just take this. You're going to need it. I was like, I guess so. I'll go get some food. But people really didn't have a concept of what my potential was. Sure. A lot of people had this vision of who I was. They said, oh, he's meek and he's shy and there's no way he could do a podcast. There's no way he could be the yoga instructor who does yoga in Philly and builds with these people.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love to be underestimated.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for this conversation, Philip.
Me as well.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
He made these pants.
Yeah.
He made these pants, young lady. How y'all doing? Brandon bespoke. Brandon bespoke. This is what I do. I make moments that could be awkward, comfortable, because it's comforting to see somebody else be the fool.
Okay.
So when people are like, why does that guy have on a lime green shirt with the orange hat? People are like, I'm not afraid of him. And some people still have that thing of like a wall, but for the most part, I recognize like in life, a lot of people just want to feel like they're better than something. And when you give that to them, you win. I'm sorry. But trousers is a favorite thing to make.
Yeah.
How long does it take?
Well, this took me, I mean, doing it in my spare time, probably 2 months. Normally it should take a few days to make some trousers. Hand make, you know.
What's the thought process as you approach it? Are you like thinking of, London told me about a special pin pattern or stripe that goes down in reference to royalty and the history behind fashion in those terms. Like there's extra colors in this striped shirt that aren't always thought of, but very much present. And there's a specific pattern when you get really close.
Yeah, for me as a tailor, since I don't work in like textiles and cloth production, I'm always looking for good cloth. And I appreciate good cloth. This is a nice English wool. Yeah, with details like that, for me, most of it's about the fit. So when I'm making a garment, I'm starting with the pattern and I'm looking at fitting the unique individual perfectly before making it, and then following the pattern, and then just going ahead with the pattern and kind of trusting the process and making it.
So you're like, this body type.
Yeah.
This texture, this pattern, this sizing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the beauty of custom and specifically of bespoke, is that every single garment's unique and made for the individual, and it fits them perfectly, and that's the goal. Yeah.
I'm sitting with like, I write music.
Right.
So when I'm sitting with a singer, I'm thinking like, what is her voice best served doing?
Okay.
So I'm thinking like, I wrote this love song for a friend who just broke up with her boyfriend. Oh, okay. So it was like a moment where I'm like,
oh no.
It was like one of the lyrics was, You said you love me. You were supposed to mean it. I thought we grow closer the older that we get, but it just didn't work that way. So it was just like all the conversations we had prior to me writing, and all of the things I had grown to know about her. Do you get to take that into
sort of the personal aspect of a creation?
Do you get to sit with the person you're making the garment for?
Ideally, yeah. I like to be able to see the person and to know who they are, and what they're looking for exactly. Because there's all these little details that you can put into a custom-made garment that, if you don't talk to the person, kind of get to know them a little bit, you're not going to know that that's what they want or need. So there's that. Yeah.
So, and I'm bringing that up for anybody that's watching, just the power of communication, and the things that are communicated through fashion.
Yeah.
Because it's very intentional, even when it appears that it isn't.
Right. Yeah.
It's dope. It's dope. So what do you look forward to as a tailor? Like, is there anything any big goal you aspire to?
Just getting better at what I do, maybe designing a few more pieces, and mostly just inspiring people to appreciate good quality clothes and not just, brand names that are well known, but the article of clothing itself isn't anything special. It's like, oh, you got a white t-shirt with a logo on it. It doesn't mean anything, but something that's made by an individual and made for you and unique to you. And just talking to people, getting to know them and getting to tell them how special that is.
There's nothing like knowing the reason behind something you own.
Yeah.
Like when I can look at a shirt that's created by Rel and know his backstory, and then see him come forward with the design based around pursuit of happiness, and just like, oh, like he had my back when I like that type of thing. And it's like all of these little details. I'm always in love with art. It's funny, like in doing my book, someone was critiquing me like, why'd you choose that font? I was like, I'm loud. It's like, well, when you're loud too much, people stop hearing you. And I was like, oh, that's real too. But I wanted to be loud. But then it made me begin to look at the fonts that people choose, from Mac to Ransom's Boutique, and why that R that way, and why not the B, and just these different questions that come to you. Even culture. Culture is like very intentional, creative, and wonky, and it's just so many little details on art that expand my mind. So
and with that specific kind of example, the first impression you get is going to be the name and the sign. So it's like you got to choose the right color and the right font and everything to kind of display your brand. And it's true with clothing. What you're wearing is half of what people see when they, get a first impression of you. So you dress up every day and you go out thinking, what are people going to think of me in this? And how do I want to present myself? So that's why, I mean, this store Branded Bespoke is about that. It's your brand is personal and it's you, and so being able to customize that and to have this kind of selection that we have here is great.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the day when my bread is in the works, but when my paper stacks afford me the opportunity to have my initials in special places of my garments. And all those types of things. Special details that only me and my tailor know. Like, this was chosen because granddad, and like we talk about that and you don't know. But the need to know things. Yes, bless up. So I always end mine like this. But I also want to ask, what is the greatest advice you've received in your journey?
The greatest advice? I think the best advice I've heard and could give is that, like, whatever's going on around you, you just keep doing your work and keep making progress. And, things could look like they're going to be great, and so you want to give up, or like just, or like they're going to be bad and you want to give up, or like they're going to be good and you kind of want to jump on the opportunity. But whatever things look like, just keep doing what you're doing and keep moving forward.
One day made better as many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that that's unfair. The joy we are given is best when shared. Visionaries never die. Legends survive. Through the seeds we sow daily, we get better with time. I am a guy from a place. CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mother blessed me with. My father chose to. Go do something nice for yourself and others. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, man. This is great.
Yes. Shout out to Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
I got to get out there one day.
Yeah, it's a great city. All right.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah. We were searching for the right way, did a lot of wrong. Can't go back, gotta move on. Gotta move forward with corrections given and accept that living still brings pain. Even when you're moving with the best intentions and you're blessed with visions of joy, bliss, peace. Gratitude for every day I live to speak and I live to breathe in growth and abundance.